Here we are. So here we are.
We're here to talk about our relationships,
And the toxicity we have.
Why do you sound proud of
And
that?
the
I know.
fuck shit that goes into
and
it.
our toxicity.
Honestly, it's just going to be a lot of you guys finding out my toxicity.
I think we've actually been quite honest about it, though. Like, never hit it.
I don't
You know
know
what,
I don't have it
though?
anymore.
There's probably people who do the same type of shit that you've done.
Mhm.
They'll be like, oh my
100%.
God, that's toxic. I didn't realize.
Or
Or
they
I've-
think
that
that
I've
they
done.
do realize it, but they think that there's no way out of it.
I used to think I was just born with it. I'm like, this is who I am.
Maybe
Your mom used to tell you that
Maybe it's
that's who you are,
Maybelline.
though.
I
too.
know. Mom.
She'd always say, you're like your
You're just
father.
like your father.
Yeah.
You're never going to change. She told me that one time. She's like, are you happy? And I was like, well, we have a lot that we're going through. She's like, well, it's never going to change. She's always going to be like her dad.
Well, I don't. Right. That's
But
wrong.
my anger.
That's wrong.
It was my anger.
But she told her that she was born with it.
No.
My mom.
So
told-
she thought that's normal.
You're
and
not.
how
Yeah.
she
You're not
should
born with anger.
No one
continue
is.
acting.
No one's
That's
born with
anger.
anger.
Is taught for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I definitely
100%.
learned that in my house.
It was a learned behavior for
Yeah.
sure.
So what about our relationship?
I think we should go back to, you know, we had this conversation last night about how like social media can impact a relationship, but like
Yeah.
how it actually impacted ours in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think
I
we
think
should
that's a
talk
good
about that.
topic.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's
Oh,
get
yeah.
to it.
And I
shall
mean,
we?
Tori even went through it with us.
Oh yeah. I watched. Yeah. I mean, our friendship definitely because of social media. Like, but that's a whole different
Yeah.
thing. But then, yeah, I witnessed what was happening,
Yeah.
doxing and
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know who to trust.
We first started dating. Ria was still like, she didn't trust anyone, which included me. She didn't trust me. And so like people, when Ria first started on social media, she had like a group of people around her and communities that were built.
They were supposed to be uplifting people.
Yeah,
it was
we
supposed
were-
to be a positive thing, like a group of people just building
So
communities.
those are called fake people.
Yeah, well,
That's their group.
some of them, like the people who were followers were amazing. Like the
Yeah.
people who were followers and they wanted to be part of a community, they were awesome. They're still with us today.
yeah.
Oh,
Like we
I
call,
Carrie
them,
Barnes.
we call them our OGs.
Yeah.
I
You know what I
love
mean?
that.
They're like really family.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we would go live
Long
with
distance
them.
family.
We would we would create like this really beautiful community, and that's what we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And it ended up being like some obsession from certain people within those people, and to the point where the obsession was that they didn't want her and I together. So we fought through a lot of like people were trying to tear us apart.
Well, people didn't have your best interest at heart, right?
No, nobody did.
And they pretended like they were trying to help you grow and help you expand
Yeah, but in reality, it was to obviously have access to me
Right.
and control.
and control, and then it would be like control what I was posting, how I was posting.
If it got to the point where they were trying to make me look like I was evil or like the bad guy
Yeah.
and trying to get me out of the relationship, they didn't want her even posting me on her social media.
There'd be one time where like when I did the merch launch and I would go to Kentucky and all that stuff. And one of the times I wanted her to come, but whoever was doing that scheduling and all that stuff involved in it made sure to do it where
When
she
she
had the
was-
kids. It was her, week where she had kids and she couldn't come.
And you know who
And they
that person was. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they purposely like would do that to keep me away from her. And I remember being at one of the launches.
That
like,
was the second one.
talking on the phone with her, and we were having an intimate conversation, and I was in the room sharing a room with someone, and they listened to my conversation. I don't know why.
I was talking about moving in.
We were we're having like real relationship conversation about can't wait to move in together.
And the person started crying, throwing
And
up.
literally the
Vomiting.
next day had a
Panic attack.
like I don't know what happened, and it was like, oh, I'm just having stuff going on at my home, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I felt bad for her. I'm like, is there anything I could do? I was comforting her, and then I left brunch plan, whatever it was, with one of the other girls. She didn't want to come because she was sad, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm still gonna go. If you need me to stay, I'll stay. She's like, no, go. I go and I ask the girl, I'm like, what's her problem? I just feel like something's off. It just doesn't make sense. I'm like, what's going on? And she tells me it's because me and her are talking serious and we're going to move in together, and it's devastated her. And I'm like, what is that? What is my fucking
Her
personal
reasoning
life
was
have to
that
do with
I
it?
was going to ruin the like the
social media.
the face of
The
her
brand.
Yeah.
Well, that was the
The
play.
supposed-
That
Yeah.
was the play.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your brand is this.
I
Everything
just
is
don't
about-
understand how so.
What they wanted to keep her as was a piece of meat. They
Okay.
didn't want her to appear to be taken because they wanted to keep her as this piece of flesh
I
that
get it.
everyone could like fawn over.
Because the second she's in a relationship, those
She
girls
loses
that thought
that
they
image.
had
But
they-
people
that
didn't
hope,
fall
they're
in
gone.
love with you because you're hot. Like,
But
I
they wanted
think-
to keep her that
Yeah,
way.
Right,
but
of
I also
course.
think they had an attachment to me in some way.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Of
that
course they did.
in their head.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's unfortunate.
So you
but
can imagine on top of having to have a relationship in the public eye, but behind
behind
the
the scenes,
scenes,
it was
nobody
bad.
knew that people were actually trying to sabotage our relationship. And now Ria had trusted people and she already had a hard time trusting people. So, you know, we're fighting with that. And then, you know, it got even deeper. They were like hiring psychics to come in and lie to Ria. And
it was a lot. It was so messy.
well, due to Ria's like religious background, she believed in things like that. She believed in psychics. They knew certain things about her because they would watch her social media. So they would throw out things about her grandma, say like, "Oh, there's a black-haired girl. Like, don't let her. There's supposed to be a move coming up. Like, don't do that."
Yeah, it'd be so weird.
Like-
but looking at it now, I'm so stupid. I even like let it get in in my
Get
head.
in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it like right before I moved to Connecticut, they told her like that I was cheating on her with my ex, and in her head, she believed it.
I'm like, what's going on? Like, what do I do?
I think I remember you coming to me
I
and saying
called
some
you.
shit.
I was screaming at the top of my
It
lungs.
was like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know what the
What
fuck.
the fuck am I supposed to do? Like,
Yeah.
I'm fighting for my relationship with these random fucking bitches.
No, it was like 3 a.m.
It was. I was like, don't get off the phone with me. I don't know. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
supposed to do. Like,
Were you in Minnesota at
Yes.
this time? Okay,
She was in
so
Minnesota.
She didn't move
she
in yet.
called
hang on,
you
this was
and
the
freaked
week
out.
before I'm supposed to move there.
Oh, jeez. And so she calls you, freaks out,
Yeah.
and says, "Don't come."
She's like, I know. She's like, I don't even know who you are.
I remember that.
people were telling me lies. They were telling me, oh, she was hitting on people before you, trying to get with other lesbians, other popular. It's like they try to make her look like she's just doing it for clout.
Clout
Right.
chaser.
And I'm like, what are you guys talking? Like, putting it in my head like that. And
Right.
I was like, what the fuck do
It wasn't
I do
just
with
one
this?
person though. It was a whole
A
group
lot.
of people doing it
And they're
to
like,
her.
we're just trying to protect you, Ria. You know we're doing this because we love you, and like lie to me in that way. So I'm like,
So when you get a whole bunch of people all saying the same thing, you start believing
and
it
I was
Yeah.
I was on
by
my
yourself.
own.
Yeah, no one
I
had
had
your
no one
back.
defending me.
Right.
Oh, that's so fucked up.
I just remember
Honestly.
I was on the outside of it, and like you're hitting me up, like I don't know what the fuck to believe, and you're like, what
None
the
of this
fuck
is
is
true.
going
What am I supposed to
on?
do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the point where like they were taking my social security number, doing background checks on me, like, and I was giving it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, take it. I have nothing
Because
to
you
hide.
had nothing to hide.
There's nothing for me to hide,
Which,
which I shouldn't.
honest,
have
I
to
was just gonna
do.
say you should never fucking do that. You'd be like, you know what? Fuck you.
I wanted to be, but I loved her so much that I wanted to prove myself any way possible because I
Yeah.
knew her status. And I wasn't out to get anything from her, which she should have seen when we first started dating. And I was literally like, bro, I don't want this if you're not serious about it. She offered to pay for me to come to Connecticut. And I was like, I'm not coming if you just plan on having sex with me. Like, that's not the kind of person I am.
Right.
Like, so she saw me set the precedent in the beginning of our relationship.
Right.
And I was not like anybody else because I wasn't throwing myself at her. I wasn't fangirling over. I didn't care.
Right.
I'm a grown woman. I have 3 children. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I thought I was already proving myself enough. And then I was having to fight for my relationship against these people I didn't even know. It had nothing to do with me and her.
I know.
Right.
It was like outside sources. And it continued that way for like the entire first 2 years of our relationship.
Jeez.
It was all outside sources that we were having to like battle.
And then the internet too. There's people that were like upset. There's married people upset that I was in a relationship. Like
Because
they were
you
in
were
the
their
comments.
fantasy.
Yeah, they were in the comment section. Like, wow, this is disappointing. Like it was
Oh my
nonstop.
And
god!
that
Rather
got to
than
your
being
head?
happy,
No,
for
that
you.
never got to my head because I didn't care. Like I'm obviously I'm gonna get in a relationship.
Of course.
Like,
Right,
this is my
eventually
life.
Human
Like,
nature.
You're
You're entitled to that.
yeah,
Right,
like
you're
I'm
human.
allowed to be happy.
Right.
You'd think that the people who really supported you would want you to be happy.
Mhm.
She was already struggling with anxiety and depression and trauma
It
and
was
things
bad.
that she couldn't even identify yet.
Right.
And I couldn't identify them yet either because we were so focused on everything else around us that we hadn't even been able to have a real relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like your all's real relationship focused on each other didn't start until you moved into here.
Dead
Yeah.
ass.